it is you, all of it is you, all of it is you. All of it is you, 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 all of it is you. All of it is you, 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 all of it is you. All of it is you, 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 all of it is you. All of it is you, 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 all of it is you. All of it is you, 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 all of it is you. All of it is you, 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 all of it is you. All of it is you, 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 all of it is you. All of it is you, 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 all of it is you. All of it is you, 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 all of it is you. All of it is you, 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 all of it is you. All of it is you, 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 all of it is you. All of it is you, 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 all of it is you. All of it is you, 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 all of it is you. All of it is you, 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 all of it is you. All of it is you, all of it is you, all of it is you, all of it is All of it. All of it. All of it is you. Yes, you, my dear, are all of it. All of it is you. All of it is you. Yes, you, my dear, are all of it. Let it be said that this book is one of the greatest titles of all time. Yeah, I said it. When I came up with it, I immediately went on a wild internet chase to see who or where I would be adopting this keenly intimate mantra from. And to my surprise, no one had used it. Until now. All of it is you. 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 All of it is you, is the you that is in everything. Nothing exists without you. All of it is you. All of it is you. All of it is you. I mean, this book is the realest work that I've ever created. It represents more of me than anything that I've ever put out into the world. What I'm not going to say is that this is the greatest collection of poetry ever written, because it's not. I would like to believe that I know where I stand in the genius that walk among us, the legends that came before. And I know that creating perfection was never my goal. And what makes a good poet? What makes a poem perfect? Is it in the way you can pack fancy words together to create mind-bending syntax? Is it in the beatnik typewriter font? Is it in how you can paint even the simplest of pictures with metaphor and allegory? Does the poem ever have to be perfect? Am I more of a poet because I have a book of poetry? Am I more of a poet than you because I have a book of poetry? No, I'm not. I'll be the first one to say that I'm not an expert on anything at all. In fact, quite the opposite. You see, my greatest insecurity has always been my own intelligence. Am I, all of it is you, all of it is you, all of it is you, am I smart enough? You see, I used to have a terrible stutter when I was a kid, and all of it is you, all of it is you. Am I smart enough? And even if I am, will anyone care, given the shell that it holds? You see, I've exposed myself in more ways physically and emotionally than most people do in a lifetime. But I've never let you all hold on to my own inner complex workings quite like this. The goal for this book, and every day for myself, is to be a physical manifestation of process, of journey. I strive to live an unconditionally raw, loving, engaging, curious life, and that's exactly how I approached writing. You see, I probed at the subjects, ideas and theories that rile me up on the human condition, and I present my interpretation. I've never written a book before, let alone one of poetry. I like to believe I like to believe that I live my life in verse. I'm beginning to understand my own privilege based on my gender and what I look like, where I come from, my socioeconomic status, and the color of my skin. And with that comes a responsibility to work even harder, to attempt to be a universal voice of understanding for an entire generation, a positive outlet for a movement, a source of light, and even the darkest of times. All of it is you, 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 all of it is you. All of it is you, 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 all of it is you. Now you will notice as you read through this book that the voice evolves. The writing of this book was a transformational journey for me, as I hope it will be for you. All of it is you, all of it is you, all of it is you. You see, that's the practical magic in it. All of it is you, all of it is you. We as human beings are blasting through space at ridiculous speeds on this Earth orb, and we're constantly trying to decipher who we are, what our voice is, where we come from, why we're here. And I'm just here to remind you that it's okay, it's honorable even to always be a work in progress. All of it is you, 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 all of it is you. Try it all and see what works, what doesn't, and know that all of it is worth celebrating, because all of it is you. All of it is you, 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 all of it is you. All of it is you, 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 all of it is you. Yeah. Physical form, majoratively. Masculine, but not limited. Power to my femmes. Not just characteristically bold in vigor, but soft and sistered. Powered, patriarchal on top, ruler measured by size and stature. You wait for voice and balls, sometimes to drop. Once a boy, not yet a man. A gentleman is a real man gentled. We have to start teaching our boys to cry. You can play ball and still weep streams. The bully is taught broken. I can't help but believe that there are good ones still, cisgendered, great ones, role models, the sons and the fathers and brothers and grands, grand with desire to protect the space for all. A real man is a woman who wears parts of himself on the outside for the world to see.
Well, I definitely want the microphone. We've had a lot of fun with this. Hi. Cool. Well, I'm not a performer like these two, but
yeah, she is. What are you talking about?
I don't do all the things on the, Anyway, but Nico, I'm really, really proud of you, and this is beautiful to get to see all of you guys here. So I'm reading Female, by far one of my favorites. Female. I hope the future really is you. Not soft, but softer. Alternative, mainstreamed, left-sided, divinely feminine. A woman is a man with a whoa. Exponentially deeper internal seas. Wish I had a submarine to explore your ocean floors. Smarter because she has to be. Pain tolerant, bearer of all that is majestic. Edged and curved however you are, however you want to be. Vulnerable empathy with force. Taught remorseful, but she has nothing to apologize for.
Come on now.
She deserves the sorriest. Everything comes first from you. Every single one born from them. By me, she is love, loved, loving. In the origin of power, you are who I try to be, feminist. You, wondered woman, wonderful you.
Woo! So Aloka's going to read them, and then they are also going to read a piece called Funeral from their book, Femme in Public.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
My name's Alok, and tell me a joke, Alok, but I'm not about to be funny. Thanks so much for having me, Nico, and I am excited to talk about this book with you all. Okay. Them. The space between. If man is 1 and woman 10, you to me are 2 through 9. So when asked if your pronouns are plural, maybe it's complemented. So as above, so below, possibilities infinite. Balancing on tight ropes, trying to balance the he's and she's or lack thereofs. If I were to say I believe we are all closer to them, would you believe me? You are all of it, even if you think you're none of it. If the immediate future is female, the real question I'm quartetted jazz for is yours, well, theirs. Ask for pronouns.
Between sex and sexuality. I said the difference between sex and sexuality. I said the difference between sex and sexuality. I said the difference between sex and sexuality.
Yeah.
I said the difference
When two
between
become
sex
one.
and sexuality.
Uh,
I said the difference
When two
between
become
sex
one.
and
Shit!
sexuality.
I said when two become one, but if I'm already more than, how many would you like to become? I said when two become one, but if I'm already more than, how many would you like to become? A course in her and his and their course study. Mates, coitus, copulate, come. I always come second. That's just proper etiquette. Even though I show up for myself, the writer first. Engage with myself, making holes from hands. Engage with others, digging for gold in holes and lands, but not on a whim. Not to knock modern day swipes and swings, but I need investment. Emotional pre-stroll, or else my spacecraft Apollo won't have the gas to blast it. You, however, are not just acts casted. Sometimes you nouns gender, whatever. The you with the Y is sexy, even phonetically. And sometimes you mean 6, and to be honest with you, that's just way too many for me to wrap my head around, way too many for me to get with. I always practice you safe, not always latex, but a vulnerable exchange, keeping the ones you love protected. It's hard right now. Yeah.
I said the difference between sex and sexuality. I said the difference between sex and sexuality.
The spectrum is so wildly vast, it's so wildly vast. I said the spectrum is so wildly vast, it's so wildly vast. There is no way that you always walk a distinctly straight line. At one point, we even thought the earth was flat, indeed is round. You are galaxies infinite, and I believe in every one of your planetary iterations. Heteros is Greek for different. Sexuality assigned only by the human. You see, we are born to appreciate differently. Break it down. I said sexuality defined by the human, but we are born to appreciate it differently. A spectrum of life, Homo sapiens, wiser men that continue to break it down and label it. If sex is what we do and you are what we are, I choose not to define myself by acts love crude. I choose to define myself by how I love myself first and my ability to love you. I said, if sexuality without sex, rather love is the duality perfectly balanced. Sexuality without sex is the duality perfectly balanced. Sexuality without sex is the duality perfectly balanced. Masculine to feminine, masculine to feminine, masculine to feminine. That is the Merkaba. Triangle up to triangle down. Masculine to feminine, masculine to feminine, masculine to feminine. The tree of life. Freedom.